Hello everybody and welcome to Game 3 of TLO versus GoOdy here on Shattered Temple. Spawning here in the 2 o'clock position as the Blue Zerg. Playing from Team Liquid we have the Little One, also known as TLO. Spawning here in the 1 o'clock position as the Purple Terran we have ESC Gaming's GoOdy. Now in Game 2 we saw TLO go for his big defensive macro style against GoOdy's one base mech aggression, and TLO was able to defeat GoOdy quite easily and just expand all over the map, macro like a boss, get up tons and tons of roaches, did some tricky burrowed roach business, and was able to take out a lot of the mech forces of GoOdy, who was just not able to really recover after going for that one base timing and not really doing enough damage. Once again, these two players have spawned close by air, and TLO once again going to be scouting this immediately and knows that he has spawned close by air and is now just going to be skirting the edges of the base right now to try to get a good sight on this natural expansion. As you can see, he's going to be moving right around the front, going to be able to see this barracks, and GoOdy is going to be able to catch this, but this barracks is so early in development that I think this Overlord is going to be able to get into a nice little cozy spot here in that back corner where those Overlords love to be oh so much. In the base of TLO right now, we currently have a lot of droning going on right now, and 2 drones now being sent out. This is potentially, yeah, just one for scouting, one for throwing down that hatchery. No, actually, he's actually going to be pulling that back. What he actually was doing there is what I initially expected, in case there was anything there that he needed to be aware of. Any SCV there trying to block his base. Just wanted to have that second drone there to be able to use one of those drones to push away an SCV while the other throws down that hatchery. Second Overlord now placed in position in GoOdy's base right now. Actually, TLO getting into position up on this high ground here, where he actually will not be able to be seen here by GoOdy up on that high ground there in that upper position. And he's got another Overlord here placed so he can just dash in at any time and be able to scout what his opponent is doing. As we can see, there is a barracks now going down, as well as a tech lab going down for GoOdy, as we see one Reaper now being produced here. And it looks like GoOdy now going to be scouting his opponent's base, going to be able to see that nothing unusual so far for TLO. So far, no gas has been thrown up, which is somewhat unusual, but not crazy unusual. Gasless openings are fairly common for Zerg, and oh no, GoOdy is actually now going to be throwing down a bunker on the high ground here in this base. Of course, this Reaper is going to be popping out here very soon, and he's going to try to get in there, but TLO pulling a lot of drones off the line to come try to deal with this SCV. So much damage now being dealt. One SCV picking off that drone, and ooh, looks like that SCV might actually go down, and no, the SCV does not actually go down. That bunker is most likely going to have to be canceled, though. Oh no, there's actually a second SCV now coming out here for GoOdy. He's going to finish building that, and he's going to be able to throw this one Reaper down, and he's going to always have a place for that Reaper to retreat to, and now that Reaper is going to be moving into the natural expansion, going to start to focus down drones on. Whoa, beautiful micro there from TLO as he starts to throw down buildings as that Reaper does damage to them. That was, holy cow, that was unbelievable micro there from TLO as he now just cancels those buildings, sends those workers back to mining, and this Reaper is going to come down, and now he's going to finally come to seek those kills that he originally wanted. Does finally manage to pick off those drones. Beautiful micro there from TLO, though. I absolutely like that. I thought that was really, really good from TLO. Very, very quick timings there from TLO. Now the spawning pool is up, no Zerglings on the way, actually, which is very surprising. TLO is very confident that he can defend this completely with queens, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. As we can see, he's got a queen in position both on the low and on the high ground, and he's just going to keep them there, and he's going to use them, and look at this, just continuing to build drones very calmly, very confidently. Love that move there from TLO, and as we can see, now a command center is going down, as well as a factory in the base of GoOdy, and he's going to now be throwing down a second gas as well. He's definitely not going to be going for that one base big attack that he went for in the first game, and now he's just going to be sitting back and taking an expansion, trying to play a little bit more defensive and try to beat TLO out in the macro game. In the meantime, these 2 Reapers continuing to try to be very annoying here for GoOdy, and notice TLO is just completely unshaken by this. He's still just saying, you know what, I still just want to get up a lot of drones. I'm going to get up a lot of workers. I am not afraid of 2 Reapers. And really, 2 Reapers are not a whole lot to be worried about. If you've got a good number of queens, then they are quite able to take out Reapers. Reapers do not do that much damage to queens, as queens are, of course, armored as well. And Reapers just don't do that much damage to units in general. They do damage to buildings. They have very high damage against buildings, as you can see, versus this D8 charge, which is their attack versus buildings. They actually deal 30 damage per hit, which is very, very strong, only used against structures. And as you can see, against any units, they actually only deal 4 damage versus armored, but versus light, they deal 9 damage. So they deal quite a bit of damage to light units, but of course to armored units like these queens, they only deal 4 damage, and it would take a very, very long time for one to kill a queen. TLO continuing to be very confident, not overreacting to this at all, gonna be trying to take down these destructible rocks so that he can start to establish a third base. His natural is getting very, very well saturated. And as you can see now, he's gonna be taking his 2 gas geysers there in his main. GoOdy trying to be a little bit annoying here, poking in with these Reapers nonstop, but he's just really not able to do too much just because of this excellent queen placement here by TLO. And I really, really like this from TLO. Not often enough do we see Zerg players get up a lot of early queens. Queens are actually very, very good in the early game. In the early game, queens are actually very, very good defensive units, and so getting up 4 of them can make such a huge difference. It gives you energy for transfuses if you need them, in case you need to block your ramp. For Hellions, you can still be constantly injecting and block your ramp. There's so many good things you can do with queens early on, and of course, spreading creep. As you can see, that is the big, huge benefit for TLO, as he has already spreaded creep all over his entire base. His entire base is covered in creep. He's going to be able to spot drops immediately, and as you can see, there is a drop going down here in the main, and TLO reacting to it very quickly, sending Zerglings immediately to be able to deal with it. Just now pulling drones, using queens to focus down that medevac. Lots of damage being dealt as that medevac is now going to fall, and these queens are now going to start to focus down these marines, but ooh, that one queen might actually fall. Transfuse did not go down by that other queen. More Zerglings are going to now stream in though and be able to clean up the rest of those marines. Not that much damage done there for GoOdy so far. So far only 6 workers killed, and that's including the few that he killed at the beginning with Reapers. Now let's take a look inside of GoOdy's base right now, as he does now have 1 factory up with the tech lab producing siege tanks. Siege mode has been completed. This barracks has just been pumping out marines non-stop. Bunker going down at the natural expansion, which is now starting to get fully saturated here. We do now have a starport now up producing some Vikings for that early air control that he is going to be utilizing, and now we do have 2 factories going down here for GoOdy as well. So it looks like it is going to be mech play once again out of GoOdy. And looks like TLO now going to be taking down the destructible rocks to both the gold base and this lower corner base. As now, where are all the overlords? GoOdy has got to be wondering where all the overlords are, as he is now moving around trying to find overlords, but TLO being so good about his overlord placement. He saw, of course, this Viking skirting the edge of his map, because he of course has vision all over his base, and so when that Viking was skirting over there, he knows there's one around, so he's trying to keep all of his overlords nice and clumped together over his queens, where he can defend them very well. And look at this beautiful unit positioning here from TLO as he places a couple of Zerglings right outside the natural expansion of his opponent's base. Does he know that this base has gone down? He does indeed know that that base is now down, as those 2 overlords that were here in the early game were able to scout it for him. TLO now taking a gold base, and looks like GoOdy trying to be annoying here, trying to prevent this expansion from going down as long as possible by now. Trying to take these Zerglings down, but those destructible rocks are now going to be taken down, and TLO is going to be feeling very good right now. I think TLO is actually feeling extremely good right now, as he is now taking that gold base, going to soon be taking this 4th base. There we go, hatchery now going down. GoOdy just now gearing up to take a 3rd base, but man, is he going to be, yeah, it looks like he's going to try to be taking that gold base here very soon, as he's starting to take down the destructible rocks with the siege tank here. Actually, I really like that siege tank positioning. From there, he can defend his natural base and start to take down these destructible rocks. I really, really like that there from GoOdy. TLO does now have lair tech up. More Vikings are out on the field for GoOdy, and somewhere around here we've got a Baneling nest as well as double evolution chamber right now, both with +1/+1 upgrades for all those Zerglings. And where the heck is that spire? Somewhere around here we've got a spire, because we do now have Mutalisks on the field here. Oh, it's right there, right next to those evolution chambers that I was just looking at. And now those Mutalisks are going to be out on the field, going to start to pick off these Vikings. Both those Vikings are going to go down, but he needs to be careful because there are a couple of Thors here. GoOdy really, really favoring these Thors. I really, really like this. I really think that this is where TVZ is going to be for quite a while here, because these Thors are just really, really good against Zerg. Zerg does not really have an effective counter against these Thors. As I was saying in game 1, these Thors are just really, really, really strong, especially once you get upgrades on them and they start to get really, really beefy in terms of that armor and the damage that they deal. They start to get really, really beefy. As we can see, whoa, interesting move here by GoOdy. Double armory is now down to start getting those double factory upgrades. as TLO continues to just get up a lot of Ling Muta. I'm not sure about this decision here by TLO. I mean, it can work very, very well. What this is going to allow TLO to do is it's going to allow him to be very, very active. It's going to allow him to go for lots of counterattacks because this army that his opponent is going for is a very, very slow army. Siege Tank, Thors are both very, very slow units, and oh, TLO is going to be able to come in here, pick off that one Siege Tank, but he took a lot of damage from those 3 Thors. As you can see, those Thors did so much damage, instantly bringing all of those Mutalisks down into the deep red, and they just deal so much damage to Mutalisks, and oh no, TLO needs to be very careful, and oh no, TLO carelessly losing a few more. Ling's trying to go in for the counterattack there, but getting roasted immediately by these Hellions. As I was saying, the things that what Ling Muta allows you to do against this kind of a force is, if he has good map control, as TLO will do since he's getting all this creep all over the map, the moment his opponent moves out with his army, he needs to go for a big counterattack. He needs to do big damage to the economy of GoOdy as soon as this army moves out, which it is right now. But in a direct engagement, this Ling Muta is not going to do very well against this army. He needs to catch these siege tanks off creep, or not off creep, but he needs to catch them on siege, and that's exactly what he did. He's now going to be moving in here, picking off all those siege tanks. Nice pick off there by TLO, as he's now going to try to focus down these Thors. But look at these Thors. They don't take that much damage at all, but it looks like these Lings might actually be able to pick off these Thors. Managed to pick off 2 Thors there. Not a bad trade there for TLO. Checking out the units lost tab, we can actually see that TLO has lost more than GoOdy, which we can kind of expect given the type of unit they've gone for, but GoOdy's not in a bad position right now. He's doing okay. I think both these players are just about even right now. The food counts are pretty even, and TLO doing the smart move. He's constantly sending out lots of Lings before his opponent can get secured in the middle, before he can get up a lot of good siege positions. And as you can see, he's now just continuing to catch his opponent off guard. GoOdy continuing to try to stream in more forces to continue to try to be more aggressive, but TLO definitely not allowing it, not allowing his opponent to get comfortable at all. I absolutely love this play here from TLO, as TLO is just producing lots and lots of Lings. Zerg Carapace level 3 is on the way, as well as Zerg melee attacks level 2, Pathogen Glands on the way as well. Ultralisk Cavern just now being started here by TLO. But is it going to be here soon enough? Lots of Lings now moving across the field, going to try to deal some damage to these Hellions. Needs to try to get a good surround, but these Hellions are blue flame and starting to deal a lot of damage to these Zerglings. These Zerglings are actually doing an amazingly good job, considering they are +2 in that Carapace upgrade, which means they're going to be quite beefy, even to blue flame Hellions. But now this gold expansion here is very, very exposed here, and GoOdy's now going to be moving in with a lot of Hellions, and all the drones now lining up to take a lot of damage from those Hellions. And now this hatchery now being focused down as TLO has taken a 5th base. Is it going to be enough? GoOdy continuing to stream lots of forces. He's now on this gold base. His economy is going to be kicking into high gear here, as TLO really needs to prepare for a big assault here. More Thors now on the way. Siege tanks coming down, being rallied in, sieging up in the mid area. Love this play here from GoOdy. Gonna be sieging up here. Needs to siege up very soon, actually, because he is on creep. Needs to have these siege tanks siege up. He's not sieging those siege tanks up. There we go. And he's now getting them, and now he's going to be very, very secure, feeling very, very confident. These Hellions trying to move in. TLO trying to get a good surround on those Hellions, but not quite able to do it. Look at this Hellion count here. GoOdy getting the perfect read on TLO, realizing that he is going strictly for Zerglings in this defense and saying, you know what, fine, I'm just going to get up tons of Hellions. Ultralisk now popping out here for TLO. Going to start to focus down a lot of those siege tanks. Gets out just in time, but the siege tank count here for GoOdy is very high, and is TLO going to be able to hold this off? Ravens now in the back of the mineral line, dropping down auto turrets, starting to focus down a lot of units here. Siege tanks now losing a couple of siege tanks here. Beautiful fungal growth going down there for TLO, delaying this push, but GoOdy now pushing forward with a lot of forces here. Lots of fungal growths going down on all of these mech forces from the high ground. Infested Terran Marines going down as well, but man, GoOdy is in such a strong position right now. Oh, had those siege tanks just sieged up a little bit too close together there, and that Ultralisk was able to finish those siege tanks off. And now it looks like these Hellions trying to go for a big counterattack around the 3rd. So many workers have been lost so far for TLO. 28 workers killed to the 18 workers lost for GoOdy, and now TLO has lost his gold base, and he's not mining very much at all right now as Hellions continue to move in, getting tons and tons of worker kills. 35 workers killed right now for GoOdy, and GoOdy now just pulling back, going to be taking another expansion here, and on this gold base, his income is so huge right now, as he is now just producing pretty much strictly Siege Tank Hellion. This is going to be a very, very strong composition here, as TLO is pretty much, at this point, very committed to this Ling Muta Ultralisk composition, which I don't know if he's going to be able to support very well off of the few number of bases that he has right now. His main is completely mined out right now. The Ultralisks do have that super armor right now. They are currently 5-2 in upgrades. That is 5 in the armor upgrades. And these Lings, I don't know, they're just not going to be quite enough to cut it, and these Hellions are cutting through those Lings so fast. That means TLO is pretty much strictly relying on Ultralisks right now to deal all of his damage, as well as take all of his damage, and I think the high Siege Tank count here from GoOdy is going to be able to do very well in taking it out. In the meantime, these Hellions are being so annoying, going all over the place, killing workers all over the place. The workers killed is skyrocketing right now. GoOdy, so far 51 workers killed, so worth it for the huge Hellion numbers here of GoOdy. And look at this, continuing to send in more Hellions, getting so many workers. TLO currently only down to 30 workers to the 78 of GoOdy right now. GoOdy just doing so well right now. Beautiful fungal growth goes down by TLO though, and those Hellions do get caught there. Looks like they are going to be able to get taken out, but that's not the big thing that TLO needs to be worried about. This high Siege Tank count is going to be the big killer here for TLO, but TLO has no time to apply any aggression to his opponent. We still have this Mutalisk, which has now healed back up to full health, not really able to do that much, as TLO is just kind of trying to figure out what he wants to tech to right now. As you can see, a lot of his creep spread has been taken out. He does not have map control right now. He's got a few Ultralisks, but in the food count, he is just way behind. 94 food to the 172 food of GoOdy, and GoOdy just getting up such a strong fortified position right now, as he is now going to be moving out with a lot of Hellions, lots of Siege Tanks, and a couple of Thors to finish off this mix. It's going to be so strong if he can get forward in a good siege position. GoOdy needs to get those Siege Tanks sieged up as fast as he can. TLO wants to try to look for an opportunity when these Siege Tanks are unsieged and go for a big attack, and TLO not quite taking that opportunity, trying to slow down this push with these fungal growths while he gets up lots more Zerglings. Neural Parasite on the way as well, so it looks like TLO is going to try to go for that Neural Parasite, but that Neural Parasite has, of course, been nerfed quite a bit, catching all these Siege Tanks off of creep and unsieged, as he's now moving in with all these Ultralisks, but the damage being done by TLO is just so high right now. 2-2 upgrades right now for all of this mech, and GoOdy taking the win with this super strong mech play. Beautiful, beautiful mech play here from GoOdy, and TLO just not quite able to figure out how to deal with it. So beautiful play there from GoOdy. Not a whole lot. This mech play is just ridiculously strong right now, so I highly recommend, if you guys are Terran players, then try out this mech style, because it's really, really strong against Zerg right now, and there's not a whole lot that they can do against those Thors and those high Siege Tank numbers. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that best of 3. If you did, please comment, please hit that subscribe button, and that's going to do it for me, guys. Send your replays to glitchreplays@gmail.com. Subscribe to me on Twitter at twitter.com/GlitchStarCraft, Facebook.com/GlitchStarCraft as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Big heart to you guys. Glitch out.